fire. The eternal flame, the light that never goes out. The Mr. H enjoying the remnants of a Jaffa cake. Last week we did a video basically, and we was talking about the origins of humanity. Where do we come from? I won't get too deep. You know, there's some schools of thought that we were a genetically engineered race, and I suppose if you read the Bible, if God created Adam and Eve, well, isn't that genetic engineering? So we was genetically engineered. If that's the case, I mean, if God came from the sky, Jesus, technically that's an extraterrestrial being. Now, and throughout various civilizations around the world, who at that time could have had no knowledge of each other's existence, from Mayan temples to ancient Egypt to Sumeria to most ancient, even aboriginal and cave drawings, there's crafts, and some of them are really well. It looks like spaceships, and flying machines. You know, Eric von Daniken, rather big in the 70s, so wrote a book called Chariot of the Gods about this kind of thing. You know, and I've mentioned Zachariah Stitchin, and his talk of the Anunnaki, the fallen angels. Who were a lot of skeletons have been found around the world, Mr. H. Massive skeletons, 9-foot skeletons, and these were meant to be the Nephilim, the children of the people who fell to earth, basically. There's a lot of ancient Egyptian pictures of these. Now, in Egypt, I've never been, I'd love to go to one. There's massive columns, you know, massive. I don't know how tall they are. They're a lot taller than a human man. And there's also pictures depicting, and they're carved, they're engraved. There's pictures of a normal man at the bottom and giants at the top doing the carving kind of thing. At this point, let me just say, give a shout out to Jamie King Topping, because we think you're out of this world. See what I did there? Anyway, that's a bit. I don't want to ruin the mood with that shout out. But what's your thoughts on this business? Have you any thoughts on it?
Well,
I'm not asking you to fucking define humanity
no, just move my thoughts on it. Well, you certainly have there's certainly something to it, isn't there? I mean, you are right that every civilization, it always comes from above, from the sky, doesn't it? It never comes out the sea.
No.
It never comes, it's always from the sky. So, yeah, there could be something in it. I mean, just going on that, have you ever seen that ancient Sphinx? Not the Sphinx in Egypt. This is one that supposedly, on one side, looks like a Neanderthal skull.
Right.
And if you go on the other side of it, it looks like a different skull.
Right. Have you any idea?
I think it's in Romania.
Right.
I think it's in Romania somewhere.
Right. I'll Google this.
Now, other people just say no. It's just basically your mind's looking for. I used to see faces in trees and things like that. Well, you do if you're cracked, but you know what I mean. But
I see trees wanking, Mr. H. And eating cake.
But yeah, I think there is something in it that would probably explain very easily to people about God. So that you've got people that don't understand. Yeah. You say it's a God.
You know, the Vatican has a telescope on the top of it, and the telescope is named Lucifer. Now, point being, besides that, allegedly the telescope is aimed looking for the return of Nibiru, because Nibiru came into our system apparently, according to Zachariah Stitchin, and that was then Anunnaki came to us, and it's meant to be coming back into our.
Have you ever heard about the third secret that was supposed to be revealed?
No.
I think in the 60s, and then they refused to reveal it, and that supposedly was supposed to tell you man's fate. And one of the reasons, the only thing is, I think it was John Paul or whatever his name was. The
Sat?
No, the Pope.
Oh right. Sorry, I thought you were the existentialist.
No, the Pope, and he just sort of hinted that it's not very nice, and that's why we're not. Whether there's, I mean, again, I could be correct. I could be misquoting bits of stuff.
Are we nothing more than a slave race, or a former slave race? Well, we're still a slave race, really. And a massive genetic experiment. Now we're getting experimented on all the time. If you want to, there's allegedly chemtrails. There's definitely stuff in our water supply. Food's being pumped with chemicals. You know, we're getting genetically modified food. So we are being vaccines. You know, are we just in some massive universe, and are we basically
lab rats,
ants on some fucking rock?
Could we not, you know, you could also look at it, are we not the Australia of the universe? You know, our forefathers, our ancestors were brought here because there was too much trouble and dumped here.
That's an interesting point, Mr.
If you think about it, every one of us is nasty and is capable of aggression. The most peaceful man, Gandhi. If you get whoever you want, if you rile them up wrong way, they could kill. It's in each and every one of us.
It's a very interesting thought, that, you know. Is it just a dumping ground?
Then you don't know. Maybe some interplanetary war wiped the people who dumped us here, and we survived.
Yeah,
because we couldn't get off. We was just left behind.
It's I suppose. I think there is people who know our origin. Allegedly, the Vatican has books in its vaults that, you know. But like you said, if it was revealed that Jesus or Christ, our God, isn't as God as we know it, you know, that, and we weren't made in 7 days. Well, perhaps we were made in 7 days. You know, it's very interesting. But I think the whole world would go fucking mental if the bolt of religion was sheared from people, and they're like, right, there is no heaven, and this is it basically. Oh, what are you going to do now? And I think people would just go fucking mental. If there was another life form out there, and it appeared before us, what do you think first thing our governments would do? We would mobilise armoured divisions and all kinds against it. We would. We wouldn't welcome it with open arms. Yeah. We would treat it as a threat, because that is how mankind thinks. It thinks that way. I just think they'd view us as just primitive fucking idiots, fucking scum, really. You know, an uncivilised. We're allegedly civilised, but we're not. We're just fucking horrible bastards. They view us as a wasp, basically. Yeah. That yes, we can sting, but you know, we can also swat it. But we don't go around killing wasps just because they can sting. We leave them alone, and I think that's what the case would be with ourselves. Well, I didn't ask Mr. H to solve the mysteries of the universe. So I don't suppose we'll know for sure. Perhaps knowing me, Mr. H's and mine lifetime, but some food for thought there, dear viewers, and I'm going to leave you now on those rather interesting thoughts.